Good afternoon, everybody. You are listening to Lake Stevens Vikings varsity baseball for game number 20, the final game of the 2019 season, and game number 198. That is the final game that you'll be hearing my voice broadcasting for the Lake Stevens Vikings varsity baseball team. Now, this is the second game since the Vikings have been eliminated from playoff contention, but that will not stop the Vikings here at Lake Stevens High School to celebrate Senior Day. They'll play against the Mariner Marauders in the final game. The Marauders still winless at 0-17, while the Vikings aim to get a a 500 record, and keep Mariner winless, as Lake Stevens is currently 9-10. The starting pitcher for the Lake Stevens Vikings will be Theron Perkins, coming off an incredible start here at Lake Stevens High School against the Mount Vernon Bulldogs, in which he threw 6 innings and got the win. He'll take on against the Mariner Marauders Cody McDuffie, who was the starting third baseman in Wednesday's game at Mariner High School. Both teams coming off of Wednesday's game, in which the Vikings won by the final score of 6-2. When we come back, it'll be the top of the first inning. It will be an all-senior starting lineup, starting with the pitcher Theron Perkins against Cody McDuffie. But at the top of the first inning, I forgot for a second that it's at home. It'll be Perkins on the mound, taking on the same top 3 hitters for the Mariner Marauders, which will be Trenton Pacheco leading it off in the top of the first. When we come back, you are listening to Lake Stevens Vikings varsity baseball. And we are now back in the top of the first inning here from Lake Stevens High School. The final game of the 2019 season. Theron Perkins against the Mariner Marauders. Trenton Pacheco, first pitch, a strike one looking. And Theron entering this game, pitching in his 9th game of the year in his 3rd start, 1-2 with an ERA of 1.73, 20 2/3 innings, 21 hits, 9 walks, 5 earned runs, and 19 strikeouts. The 0-1, foul ball. Count now at 0-2. As Theron will face off against the first 3 hitters, the left fielder Trenton Pacheco, the second baseman Jacob Coelho, who played on Wednesday's game at right field, and the number 3 hitter, the shortstop Zach Graham, who was the starting pitcher and losing pitcher in Wednesday's game. The 0-2, swing and a miss. Strike 3, he gets Pacheco swinging for the first out. Here is the second baseman, Jacob Coelho. On Wednesday's game, 0-for-2 with a strikeout and got hit by Xander Fogel. Struck out in the 3rd, got hit in the 4th, and that was when Xander Fogel got taken out of the game. He ended up being the winning pitcher, now with a record of 1-1 with an ERA of 4.42. The stretch by Theron, the windup in the first pitch. Inside, ball 1. And the lineup for the 0-17 Mariner Marauders, the first 3 hitters, Pacheco, Coelho, and Graham. The middle of the order, the center fielder, Jorge Urrutia. And the starting pitcher for the Mariner Marauders, Cody McDuffie, the 1-0. Fly ball, this one going into short right field. Aaron Lampinen is under it and will make the catch for the second out in the top of the first. Now here is the shortstop, Zach Graham. He was the losing pitcher in Wednesday's game. 84 pitches through 3 1/3. He allowed 9 hits, 5 earned runs, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. He got the loss in a 6-2 Vikings victory back at Mariner High School. First pitch inside, ball 1. Another close pitch inside by Theron Perkins. Almost hit Coelho, starting that at bat at a 1-0 count. Now starting this one the same. So the 6th hitter is the catcher Ryan McCann, who's once again behind the plate, the 1-0. Low under the strike zone, ball 2. Bottom 3 hitters, the first baseman Peter Transon, the third baseman Tyson May. He was the designated hitter for the second baseman David Villanueva, also in the 8th spot. And the 2-0 upstairs, ball 3. And the 9th spot, he was a pinch hitter for Coelho in Wednesday's game, but now he is starting at right field. It is number 11, Max Savchuk. And the lone reserve that they have is number 8, Shaquille Khan. Count is 3-0. Theron in the stretch. Getting the sign from Tommy, the windup in the pitch. Fastball, swing and a miss. Goes into dirt, 3 balls and 1 strike. And the defensive positions for the Lake Stevens Vikings a little different today because it is senior night. On the mound is Theron. Behind the plate is Tommy Lindgren, 3-1. Outside, ball 4, and Zach Graham will walk to first. They'll bring up the center fielder, Jorge Urrutia, who went 1-for-3 with a single in the 4th inning and then got caught stealing to end the fourth by Tommy Lindgren. He was also a pitcher in that game, throwing 3 2/3 with 66 pitches, 2 hits, 2 walks, and 4 strikeouts. First pitch, swing and a miss, strike one. And the defensive lineup for the Vikings at third base, playing his first ever start at third, is Colton Hogel. Playing his first ever start at shortstop is Cameron Austin. Count is 0-1. And the pitch inside. He evens the count at 1-1. Arusha moves out of the way. At second base is Aaron Lampinen, and at first base is Bailey Corley. On the outfield at left is Caden Patterson. Center field is Tanner Lynn, and at right field is Trey Long. Count is even at 1-1. Theron looks at first to stretch. Peeks over at first and back of the plate. 1-1. Fly ball. That one is out foul. Count is 1-2. Theron coming off a really good start in his last game against the Mount Vernon Bulldogs. He threw 6 innings, allowing 4 hits, an earned run, no walks, and 5 strikeouts. 1-2, a strike 3 called. Tommy throws to second. And it does not matter, as that was the third out, as Zachary Graham tried to steal second. That will be the end of the top of the first. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on. Is Mariner nothing. Lake Stevens coming up. Cody McDuffie walking up to the mound. Will face off against Theron, Aaron, and Tommy. Those are the first 3 hitters. Tommy Lindgren batting third for the first time in his varsity career. Aaron Lampinen batting second for the first time in his varsity career as we go into the bottom of the first inning here at Lake Stevens High School. And we are now back in the bottom of the first inning. Lake Stevens looking to start off the game with some runs on the board after they prevent Mariner from scoring any in the top of the first. First pitch by McDuffie. That is a check swing ground ball fielded off of the glove of McDuffie, and Lake Stevens will start off with an error by the pitcher, McDuffie. It was a check swing that rolled to the right of the mound in the perspective of the hitter, and Cody McDuffie tried to field the ball. It gets off of his glove, and the Vikings start off with a base runner. Here is the second baseman, Aaron Lampinen. As the first pitch for Cody McDuffie on the mound. Now he's in the stretch. First pitch, upstairs, ball 1. Lampinen, a .291 average, 16 for 55, 4 doubles on the year, and 9 RBIs, currently 5 for 5 in stolen bases, 9 runs, 5 walks, 10 strikeouts, and has been hit 3 times this year. Count is 1-0. McDuffie on the stretch, looking over at first, throws, and is not in time as the first baseman, Peter Transon, drops the ball. The lineup for the 9 and 10 Lake Stevens Vikings, the first 3 hitters. For the first time this season, it has been in this order: Theron Perkins, Aaron Lampinen, and Tommy Lindgren. And batting cleanup is the first baseman, Bailey Corley. The 1-0. Outside strike, throw to first, not in time. Evens the count at 1-1. The 5 hitters, the right fielder, Trey Long. 6 hitter batting 6 for the first time is the center fielder, Tanner Lind. At 7th is the third baseman, Colton Hogel. And at 8 is the shortstop, Cameron Austin. And at 9 is the left fielder, Caden Patterson. Count is even at 1-1. McDuffie in the stretch, looks at first, back of the plate. This one inside, ball 2. And the defensive lineup for the Mariner Marauders: on the mound, Cody McDuffie. Behind the plate is Ryan McCann. At third base is Tyson May. He was the designated hitter on Wednesday. Looks at first to stretch, 2-1. Theron, runner goes, ground ball, foul. Past the third base line towards the Mariner dugout. Evens the count at 2-2. Theron was ready to run for it to get to second base. So he was looking to get his 14th stolen base of the year. At shortstop is Zachary Graham. Second base is Jacob Coelho. 2-2 the pitch. And a hanging one hopper, ball 3. Count is even at 3-2 for the second batter. And at first base once again is Peter Transon. And the outfield at left is Trenton Pacheco. Center field is Jorge Arusha. And at right is Max Savchuk. Count is full, payoff pitch, fly ball. That is playable, calling by the shortstop Graham, who's right near the bag, and he will make the catch for the first out of the bottom of the first inning. Brings on the catcher Tommy Lindgren, first time batting in the 3-hole this season. And Lindgren, a .190 average, 8 for 42 with 2 RBIs. Walked 5 times, struck out 8, and got hit once. And the first time hitting in the 3 spot. McDuffie looking over at first base towards Theron. The first pitch, Theron goes. The pitch is low, and the catcher, Ryan McCann, could not get a grip on the ball. Theron will go to second on a stolen base. His 14th of the year, 14 for 15. As the Vikings have a runner in scoring position. And the 1-0. Strike one looking. Evens at 1-1. 1-1. Upstairs, gets away from the catcher McCann. Theron's going to go to third on a wild pitch. So that is, according to the stat book right here, the Vikings now have 71 stolen bases, which is a new school record, in addition to Tanner getting the school record for most stolen bases by a player with 18, the 2-1. And a swing and a foul evens the count at 2-2. Theron now at third on the wild pitch. And McDuffie wind up, payoff. My mistake, 2-2, foul ball. And Tommy, count stays at 2-2. McDuffie getting the sign from Ryan McCann. Gets into the stretch, the windup. Upstairs, full count. And the reserves for the Vikings is all the underclassmen. Hunter Zalasko for the first time in his career. Payoff. Upstairs, ball 4. Tommy wins the battle, goes to first base. They have runners in the corners with 1 out for Bailey Corley, the first baseman. And Bailey, a 200 average, 4 for 20, with a home run and 4 RBIs. First pitch inside, ball 1. With 2 runs, a walk, struck out 5 times and got hit twice. Bailey normally swinging on the first pitch, not doing it in this case. Count starts at 1-0. And the 1-0, low, ball 2. Throws to first, does not throw. That'll be a courtesy runner for Tommy. That'll bring in Hunter Zalasko, one of the 6 reserves for the Vikings. And it's the first time that he has not been in the lineup since senior day last year. So it's Hunter Zalasko, Tate Brust, Ethan Jansen, Devin McWaters, Xander Fogel, and Jace Merkerson. Runner goes, a hard hit shot. That one going into left center field. Theron is going to score from third. Hunter is riding around third. Bailey is going to second. The throw to the plate is cut off by the first baseman, and Bailey Corley has a 2-run, 2-bagger. The Vikings have a 2-0 lead in the bottom of the first. RBIs number 5 and 6 on the year for Bailey. With a 1-out double, here is the right fielder, Trey Long. The Vikings once again starting off with 2 runs in the first inning, just like on Wednesday. First pitch low, ball 1. Hunter had a good jump from first base on that pitch as he was looking to steal second, but ended up going home anyway. Count 1-0. McDuffie the pitch. Inside, strike 1 looking. And Trey, a .217 average, 10 for 46 with 5 doubles and a triple this year. 6 runs, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, and got hit once. Is also 7 for 8 in stolen bases. Count is even at 1-1. McDuffie looking to second, and back at the plate, 1-1. Chopper, this one getting into the glove of the pitcher. McDuffie tosses it to Transon for the second out. And it'll move Bailey the third. Here is Tanner Lynn, the center fielder. And Colton Hogle on deck. Currently, he has his first ever start in the lineup for the Vikings. He is 0 for 3 with 2 walks. My mistake, no walks, 2 strikeouts and got hit once. But now we're going to go to the 6-hitter, Tanner Lind, the first time he has ever been in the 6-hole. Currently has a .259 average, 14 for 54, 2 doubles and 6 RBIs, 18 runs, 11 walks, struck out 14 times, has been hit 4 times, and has a school record 18 stolen bases under his belt. First pitch, outside, ball 1. Both runs will be under and towards McDuffie because it starts off on the error. And the 1-0. Hard hit shot. That one going past the glove of the second baseman. That will score Bailey from third. And the Vikings have a 3-0 lead. It is an RBI single in the right field by Tanner Lind. This one just getting past the glove of a leaping Jacob Coelho as he was leaping to his left. And now with the runner at first, here is Colton Hogel making his first plate appearance as a starter in the lineup. And Tanner flinching, going back to first. Currently has 18 stolen bases. Looking to extend that to 19 here. First pitch. Hard hit shot. That one getting into the glove of the second baseman, Jacob Coelho, for the third out as he prevents it from touching the infield. That will end the bottom of the first inning. It is 3 runs off of 2 hits, 1 error, and 1 runner left on. The Vikings start off with a commanding 3-0 lead. Theron going back to the mound as they'll face off against the 5, 6, and 7 hitters, Cody McDuffie, the pitcher, the catcher Ryan McCann, and the first baseman Peter Transon, as the Vikings look to keep this a 3-0 game here at Lake Stevens High School as we go into the top of the second inning. And we are now back in the top of the second inning. Theron, the first pitch to Cody McDuffie, out for a foul. Theron Perkins throwing 6 balls and 8 strikes for 14 pitches against 4 batters, allowing a walk in the top of the first inning. And the Vikings starting off with a 3-0 lead, highlighted by a 2-run double by Bailey Corley. Count starts at 0-1, number 6 to number 6. 0-1 upstairs. Count is even at 1-1. Theron Perkins will face off against the 5, 6, and 7 hitters, the pitcher McDuffie, the catcher Ryan McCann, and the first baseman Peter Transon. And McDuffie was the starting third baseman in Wednesday's game. Wind up in the 1-1, Theron. Low ball 2. McDuffie, 1 for 1, got on base in the second inning off of an error by the shortstop Zelasco, then got out on a 5-4-3 double play. Was walked in the 5th and was one of the 2 runs that scored. And a foul ball in the 2-1 count, evens it at 2-2. And then in the 6th inning, he got a double, but decided to try and stretch it to 3 and got out at third base on a 7-6-5. Jace Merkerson to Hunter Zelasco to Ethan Jansen. Count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Theron getting the sign from Tommy to stretch. The windup and the throw, swing, and a miss, strike 3. And the third strikeout for Theron Perkins this afternoon. Here is the catcher Ryan McCann, who had only 2 at-bats. He had 1 official at-bat as a starting catcher, and that's when he hit into that 5-4-3 double play. First pitch, a strike 1 looking. He then was replaced by Max Savchuk as a pinch hitter and struck out swinging, and then came back in the bottom of the 7th to where he popped out to the second baseman Aaron Lampinen. Count starts at 0-1. Theron, the windup in the first 0-1 count. Low and outside count is even at 1-1. So Theron Perkins now with 22 strikeouts. Second to Devin McWaters with 25 on the team. The 1-1. And a ground ball to the third baseman Colton Hogel, his first throw, and it gets him out at first base. A nice play by Colton Hogel, and throwing it to Bailey Corley for the second out. Here's the first baseman Peter Transon. He was in the 8th spot on Wednesday. He's at the 7th spot today. Transon, he is 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts, both on 0-2 counts, and in the 5th inning in his third at-bat. Also on an 0-2 count, got on base on a botched fly ball. A miscommunication between Theron and Tate Brust, the first baseman. First pitch, swing, and a miss, strike 1. Theron getting the sign from Tommy, the 0-1. Wind up in the pitch, low, ball 1.
Coming up for the Vikings in the bottom of the second, Cameron Austin, Caden Pattison, and then going right back up to the top of the order, and Theron. Count is 1-1. And a strike two looking. Nice pitch by Theron. That was the first ball thrown to Peter Transon in this series. On that 0-1 pitch. Now the count is 1-2. Wind up, swing and a miss. Strikes him out to end the top of the second. As 4 strikeouts for Theron Perkins. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on. Score stays at 3-0 Vikings. As McDuffie will go back to the mound to face off against Cameron Austin. Caden Pattison for the first time this afternoon. Then back to the top of the order in Theron Perkins. Score still 3-0 Lake Stevens as we go into the bottom of the second inning. And we are now back in the bottom of the second inning. Lake Stevens still with a 3-0 lead. The first pitch from the windup from McDuffie to Cameron Austin. First pitch, a foul chopper. Count starts at 0-1. McDuffie, 11 balls and 12 strikes for 23 pitches in the first inning alone. To put that in the comparison, Theron Perkins has thrown 26 through 2. And McDuffie, the windup, the 0-1 to the shortstop. Hard hit shot, that one getting past Coelho, and that will land with a leadoff single that will land in right center. And Cameron Austin with his 10th hit of the year is looking to stay perfect in stolen bases. Currently is 10 for 10. Now we go to the 9-hitter, the starting left fielder, Caden Pattison. Caden 2 for 21 on the year with an RBI. His first career RBI back on Wednesday. First pitch, a strike one. Throw to second is not in time. Cameron is indeed perfect in stolen bases. 11 for 11, making that 72 on the year. Still a school record. McDuffie looking at second and back at the first. The 0-1, a hard hit ball. This one going in the left field. And it'll be to the left fielder, Trenton Pacheco, for the first out in the second inning. Brings us to the top of the order, and Theron Perkins got on base on the first pitch on a check swing ground ball that got off of the glove of McDuffie as he tried to field it. So Tanner also had his 7th RBI of the year. And McDuffie looking at second in the stretch. Glove right next to the hat. First pitch, fly ball, foul. Count starting off at 0-1.
Where'd that go? Go 6. Have a shot, here you go.
McDuffie looking at second, the 0-1. Curve outside, evens the count at 1-1. And a timeout by Mariner. Ryan McCann walking up to the mound. McDuffie now in the stretch. Looks over at second. Glove right next to the face. 1-1, a hard hit shot. This one going into left center. Back goes to center fielder Urrutia. Looking up, going back. That is gone! Theron Perkins to dead center field. His first dogger of the year. Lake Stevens now leads 5-0. The pitcher helping his own cause. Stays with 1 out. In the bottom of the second, that one went to dead center field. Urrutia went back. He ended up looking up the back of his jersey facing home plate. And then he found out he could not run anymore as that one went over the wall. First pitch to Aaron Lampinen. Outside, ball 1. It's now 5-0 Lake Stevens after 1 1/3. The 1-0 by McDuffie. Foul ball. Evens the count at 1-1. Lampinen. He popped out to the shortstop Zachary Graham back in the bottom of the first inning. That was Theron Perkins' first varsity home run. He has 8 triples, which is the school record, including the school record 6 triples last season. That was the first time that he ever had enough power to get it over. And the 1-1, a one-hopper off of the catcher's mask. McCannon hits the backstop, count is 2-1. Well, that was one of the hardest hit baseballs I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen anyone hit one to dead center. The 2-1, a fly ball. This will go in the right field. Max Savchuk is under it and will make the catch for the second out. So I'll bring up Tommy Lindgren. Full count walk in the first inning and scored. My mistake, he got taken out of the game by Hunter Velasco, who then scored on a 2-run double by Bailey Corley.
Let's go, Tommy!
And the first pitch, McDuffie. Low gets out of the glove of McCann, ball 1. And McDuffie moving the windup. Then the pitch, 1-0, a curveball, strike 1, looking, evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Currently past the athletic building, we have a blue crane working on the construction. 1-1, fly ball. That one, a fly ball called by Transon, the first baseman, who will make the catch that will end the second inning. 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and no runners left on, highlighted by the guy who is on the mound right now in the top of the third, Theron Perkins, hitting a 2-run home run to dead center field, making it a 5-0 game. They'll face off against Tyson May, the third baseman, Max Savchuk, the right fielder, and Trenton Pacheco, the left fielder, as he looks to keep it a 5-0 game in favor of the Lake Stevens Vikings here from Lake Stevens High School. You are listening to Lake Stevens Vikings Varsity Baseball, 5-0 Lake Stevens, going to the top of the third. And we are now back in the top of the third inning. Lake Stevens now has a 5-0 lead thanks to the guy on the mound, Theron Perkins, who had a 2-run bomb to dead center field. Now he's on the mound against Tyson May. First pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1. He threw 14 pitches in the first inning, 12 in the second, with 4 strikeouts to his name. Now bringing him up to 23 strikeouts on the year, and the mark he has to pass is 25 to get the team lead, the 0-1. Inside, evens the count at 1-1. They'll face off against the 8-9-1 hitters, the third baseman Tyson May, the right fielder Max Savchuk, and the left fielder Trenton Pacheco. Tyson May, he was the designated hitter in Wednesday's game at Mariner High School, the 1-1. Low ball 2. And Theron Perkins picking up where he left off back in the Mount Vernon game, the 2-1. Swing and a miss, evens the count at 2-2. Now Mariner, the reason why they're 0-17 instead of 0-19 is because there was a series that they had against the Monroe Bearcats in which they had to forfeit. The 2-2. Inside, whoa, just under the strike zone. Count is full at 3-2 for the first batter for Theron Perkins. He has allowed only 1 walk entering this inning. That was Zachary Graham, the number 3 hitter, back in the first. And the payoff pitch. And a strike 3 called against Tyson May, looking at his strikeout number 5 on the afternoon for Theron Perkins. And Tommy Lindgren, who threw to the shortstop Cameron Austin for the usual routine throws after a strikeout. No, he threw it to Colton Hogle, who threw it offline to Cameron Austin. The ball went into center field. It brings up Max Savchuk, the right fielder, who is a pinch hitter who only came up once, and he struck out swinging. First pitch, strike 1 looking. So Perkins came in with 19 strikeouts. He now has 24. So he is 1 strikeout away from tying it. The 0-1. And a swing and a miss, strike 2. And Josh White making all of his pitchers eligible here in this final game, and he said the first pitcher will be Hunter Velasco, the 0-2, low ball 1. And no, you did not hear me wrong. It was looking over at the bullpen pregame. The guy who was warming up was Hunter Velasco, looking to make his first ever appearance on the mound. Wind up in the 1-2. Upstairs, evens the count at 2-2. Savchuk came in for the catcher, Ryan McCann, and then later played in right field for Coelho, the 2-2. Low ball 3, another full count 3-2. Came into the 5th inning in a 1-2 count, struck out swinging against Tate Brust. No, my mistake, struck out swinging against Xander Fogel. And the count full again, payoff. And a strike 3 called, and he freezes Savchuk at the same pitch in the same count. And strikes out looking, and a fastball right down the middle. That is now 25 strikeouts on the year for Theron Perkins, tied with Devin McWaters for most on the season. Here we now are at the top of the order. Trenton Pacheco, the left fielder, first pitch, and a hard hit ball straight to the Mariner dugout. Count starts at 0-1. He struck out swinging on 3 pitches to start the game in the top of the 1st inning. Yeah, timeout by Pacheco.
Easy, be patient.
And Theron the stretch, wind up in the pitch, upstairs, ball 1. So Theron through 2 2/3 now has 6 strikeouts and 8 possible outs for the Vikings up until this point. The 1-1 swing and a missed, strike 2. And Theron ahead of the count again against Pacheco. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Looking to sweep him away, the 1-2. 1 hopper. In the dirt to the catcher, Tommy Lindgren evens the count at 2-2. And Theron, the windup, 2-2. Swing and a miss. He strikes out the side in the top of the 3rd. That is 7 strikeouts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 strikeouts for Theron Perkins through 3 innings. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on. As we go into the bottom of the 3rd inning, Cody McDuffie throwing 37 pitches through 2 innings. He'll face off against Bailey Corley, Trey Long, and Tanner Lynn, the first baseman, right fielder, and center fielder, as the score stays at 5-0. Lake Stevens over the Mariner Marauders. And we're now back in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Cody McDuffie facing off against Bailey Corley. So far, a pretty good day so far. Hit a 2-run double back in the bottom of the 1st. McDuffie threw 37 pitches through 2 innings. First pitch, upstairs, ball 1. Bailey getting a little more patient today. Hit that 2-run double off of a 2-0 count. He knows what pitch he wants. McDuffie, the windup. Oh, he 1-0. A hard hit shot. This one going in the left. That is fair. Will that be another 2-bagger? It looks like it. Bailey's going to second. The throw goes over the head of the shortstop. He catches it, throws to second, is not in time. And Bailey Corley 2 for 2 with 2 doubles. And he gets another one to start off the 3rd inning. That one hit right near the line in left field. It was fielded by Pacheco, who throws it over to almost over the head of the shortstop, Zachary Graham, who throws it to the second baseman, Coelho, not in time. Here's Trey Long. Grounded out to the pitcher, McDuffie, for the 2nd out of the 1st. First pitch. Curve at the dirt, ball 1. It was Trey on a 1-1 count, grounded out to the pitcher McDuffie. On deck, Tanner Lynn did that RBI single. This one a fly ball. This one going into short center field. This one will be caught by the center fielder, Jorge Urrutia, for the 1st out in the 3rd. Brings up Tanner Lynn, the center fielder. Got an RBI single off of a 1-0 pitch that scored Bailey from second. Bailey, those were, if I remember correctly, yep, those are his first 2 doubles in his varsity career. First pitch, strike 1 looking.
Go, Tanner. Go, Tanner.
And McDuffie getting the sign from McCann. Looks over at second in the stretch. Glove near the face. 0-1 outside. Ball one. And McDuffie in the stretch. 1-1. Looks over at second towards Bailey. Outside ball two. And the 2-1 pitch outside, ball three. Three balls, one strike. Bailey at second, the pitch. Gets past the catcher, McCann. Throw to third is not in time. Bailey gets in there on the wild pitch by Cody McDuffie. And Tanner will go to first on the 5-pitch walk. Now here is Colton Hogel. A chance to get his first RBI and his first hit for the Lake Stevens Vikings. And the throw to first. Nope, Tanner Lind in a rundown. Transon throwing it to Graham, who tries to tag him. No, now he's looking at first. No, he stays at first. Bailey, the throw to third it is. Is it in time? The umpire looked like he was going to call him out. No, Tanner's going to second. It delays the play. Tanner's going back to first. Call by the umpire. Looked like the infield umpire was going to call him out. But then he stopped halfway. Tanner saw that the play had stopped and he went to second. And now they're going to talk about the call. They're going to say he is out at third. Tanner will go back to first base in a 3-6-5 that gets Bailey out for the second out in the third inning. Peter Transon at first, pretty ecstatic about the call. And Colton Hogel yet to have seen a pitch. Cody McDuffie first pitch. Outside strike one looking. Tanner trying to get a jump. Looks over at first, the 0-1. Hard hit shot. This one going at the center. Straight to the center fielder, Jorge Urrutia. Another well-hit ball by Colton Hogel, but not enough to get a base hit, as it will end the third inning. No runs on one hit, no errors, and one runner left on. Score stays at 5-0 Lake Stevens over the Mariner Marauders. Theron Perkins going into the top of the fourth, facing off against Jacob Coelho, Zachary Graham, and Jorge Urrutia. Once again, from Lake Stevens High School, score stays at 5-0 Vikings. And we are now back in the top of the fourth inning. Lake Stevens still with a 5-0 lead over the Mariner Marauders. Theron Perkins, 7 strikeouts through 3 innings, looking to add more to that number. As he'll face off against the second baseman, Jacob Coelho. He popped out to Aaron Lampinen to start things off in the top of the first. That was for the second out in the top of the first. First pitch, a strike one looking. He'll face off against the second baseman, Coelho, the shortstop, Zachary Graham, and the center fielder, Jorge Urrutia. And Theron, the windup in the 0-1. Swing and a miss, strike two.
Hey, adjust, touch it.
And the 0-2, a short grounder, fielded by Theron. Quick throw to first, it is in time. What a play by Theron Perkins. He fields the ball right near the third base line and quickly throws to the first baseman, Bailey Corley, for the first out. That brings up the shortstop, Zachary Graham, walked on 5 pitches and is the only base runner for the Mariner Marauders in this entire game. And the first pitch, a strike one looking. So the Mariner Marauders last season, they finished in the same position they are now. They finished last place in the Wesco 4A conference with a 4-15 record. They were 1-13 in conference play. And the 0-1 in the dirt evens to count at 1-1. So the first time that these two teams faced off was in 2015. And the Vikings won both games. They won 11-1 here on a no-hitter by Nick Hoskins. And then they won at Mariner 15-4, 1-1 outside ball 2. At 2016, that was the only time that Mariner had beaten the Lake Stevens Vikings. It was at Mariner High School on a 1-0 final score. They walked off against the Vikings, and Lake Stevens then returned the favor with an 8-1 final score here. 2017, the Vikings won 10-0 and 7-1. And then 2018 on a doubleheader, the Vikings won 17-2 and 6-1. The 2-1 pitch by Theron, a chopper. This one fielded by the shortstop Austin. No, the second baseman Lampinen. The throw to first is not in time, as there was a little bit of miscommunication there between the shortstop Austin and the second baseman Aaron Lampinen. They both looked ready to get the ball, but Lampinen got there first. It'll be an infield single, and that'll be Mariner's first hit here in the top of the fourth. Here is the center fielder Jorge Urrutia, struck out swinging on a 1-2 count. Theron looks at first, now gets in stretch. Throw to first is not in time. Theron looks over at first, now in the stretch. And the first pitch, a foul ball, hits the fence right next to the backstop, count at 0-1. And Theron looking at first now at the stretch, 0-1. Grab it first, this will go inside, strike two looking. And Trey Long, just like in every game he has played at right field beforehand, is once again playing a pretty good style of moral support there. The 0-2, Theron, swing and a miss, strike three. Strikeout number 8 for Theron. And the first one here in the fourth, the second out. Here is the pitcher, Cody McDuffie. Struck out a 2-2 pitch back in the top of the second. And Theron steps off, looks at first, does not throw. Theron, the first pitch. Low ball, one outside. Theron Perkins adding to the pitch count by every inning. 14 in the first, 12 in the second, 17 in the third. Theron peers over at first base to 1-0. And a foul ball, it's the fence, evens to count at 1 ball and 1 strike. And Theron toeing the rubber, looking over at the catcher. Tommy Lindgren peers at first and goes in the stretch. Glove to the numbers, 1-1. Under the strike zone, ball 2. Theron looking at first towards Bailey and Zachary Graham. 2 balls, 1 strike. Theron, the windup, the pitch. Chopper, foul. Evens it at 2-2.
Back in here, let's go.
Evens to count at 2-2, gives Theron a chance for strikeout number 9. The 2-2 pitch. Outside ball 3. Tommy to throw to second. Do they get Graham? They do not. The ball gets past Austin, fielded by Lampinen in short center. And it will be a stolen base for Zachary Graham. Count is now full again at 3-2. Theron has had pretty good history with full counts. He had 2 back in the third, and they both ended in strikeouts looking. Full count 3-2. Theron looking at third. The pitch. Strike 3 called. He does it again. Strikeout number 9 for the senior Theron Perkins. It is no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on. Score stays at 5-0. Lake Stevens over Mariner, and Cody McDuffie expected to go back on the mound in the bottom of the fourth. He'll face off against Cameron Austin, Caden Pattison, and Theron Perkins again here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Once again, the score, Lake Stevens 5, Mariner nothing, as we go into the bottom of the fourth inning. We are now back in the bottom of the fourth inning. Lake Stevens with a 5-0 lead, looking to add more. McDuffie, the first pitch to Cameron Austin. Low and outside, gets past the catcher McCann for a ball one. Cameron Austin started off on a 1-0 pitch with a base hit in the bottom of the second and scored on that 2-run home run by Theron Perkins. Count starts at 1-0. Wind up by McDuffie. Low ball 2. McDuffie, he threw 6 balls and 6 strikes for 12 pitches. He has thrown 49 pitches through 3 innings. And the 2-0 upstairs, ball 3. One thing that Mariners really got to pay attention to here, they have 10 players. They brought 10 players on the bus. So that means they got to do the same thing they did on Wednesday, as much as I yearn to say it, as much as I don't want to say it. 2-0. And the 3-0 count, tried bunting for it, goes back for a ball 4. So as much as I don't want to say it, the same thing on Wednesday. If Mariner wants to do a pitching change, you got to switch up their entire defensive lineup again. Because there were guys that played at center that moved to left, and the left fielder moved to freaking shortstop, and the shortstop moved to the catcher, and the catcher was the pitcher. I mean, that's how ridiculous it was. Throw to first, not in time. Oh, and the quick throw to try and get Cameron. Oh, a little shady there. All right. Cameron got a foot off the bag before he threw back at him. First pitch to Caden. Strike one looking. And Pattison on an 0-1 count, he flied out to the left fielder, Trenton Pacheco, back in the second inning. McDuffie looking at first in the stretch. And the 0-1. Hard hit shot that gets into the glove of the shortstop, Zachary Graham. Throw to first is not in time, but what a play by the shortstop, Graham. He dove to his right to make that catch as he prevents that ball from going into left field. And so far, the highlight of the series for the Mariner Marauders, the 2-run single by Pacheco on Wednesday, and that play by Zachary Graham. Here's Theron Perkins, a chopper. This one fielded by Graham. Gets the nice throw. The one hopper to first, not in time. It'll be an infield single for Theron Perkins. Cameron going to second. Brings up Aaron Lampinen, 0 for 2 with a pair of flyouts. The first one to Graham, and the most recent one to Max Savchuk, the right fielder, as he once again is in position with 1 out in the 4th inning this time. First pitch inside, ball 1. One ball, no strikes. McDuffie looking at Austin at second, the pitch. Outside, ball 2. McCann looking at second. McDuffie toeing the rubber. Lake Stevens runners on first and second. Cameron Austin and Theron Perkins. 2 balls, no strikes to pitch. Ground ball. This one gets into the glove of the third baseman, Tyson May, who touches the bag for a fielder's choice. It goes for the second out. May looks at second and looks at first and decides to touch the third base bag to get Cameron Austin out. Now bring up Tommy Lindgren, 0 for 1 with a walk. Back in the first. First pitch upstairs, ball 1.
Go, boys. Let's go, Tommy.
And McDuffie in the stretch, looks at Theron at second. And the 1-0, fly ball, that is foul. Evens the count at 1-1. Tommy with a chance to get a couple of runs in for the Vikings. McDuffie looking at Theron at second, 1-1. The pitch. And a foul chopper. Count now at 1-2. And the 1-2, strike three called. The first strikeout for McDuffie, and that will end the fourth inning. No runs on one hit. No errors and 2 runners left on. Score stays at 5-0 Lake Stevens as we go into the top of the fifth inning. And Theron will be taken out of the game after 4, bringing in a new pitcher. Pitching for the first time in almost a year is number 34, Bailey Corley. He'll be facing off against the 6, 7, and 8 hitters, Ryan McCann, Peter Transon, and Tyson May. I guess that was wrong, and instead of Hunter Zelasco coming in first, it'll be Bailey, so we'll take a quick break here, top of the fifth. 5-0 Lake Stevens over Mariner. And we are now back in the top of the fifth inning. Bailey Corley, the first pitch to the catcher Ryan McCann, a strike one, looking his first pitch of the season as he takes over for Theron Perkins. Currently 4 innings, 59 pitches, a hit, a walk, and 9 Ks, 0-1. Fly ball, this one playable, going into short left field. Cameron Austin running for it, running from his shortstop position. It's dropped by Austin. Throw to second is in time. No, it is not. And it will be an error by the shortstop, Cameron Austin. He tried catching the ball in left field right next to Caden Pattison. And McCann will go to second. And that would be on an 0-1 count now. Here is the first baseman, Peter Tranton. Struck out on a 1-2 pitch. Against Theron Perkins, first pitch, strike one looking. And Bailey looking at second in the windup in the 0-1. Outside and upstairs, evens the count at 1-1 strike. So Theron with 9 strikeouts, finishing with a team high 28 strikeouts on the year for his high school career. The 1-1 foul ball, count now 1-2. So that ball was dropped by Cameron. He throws it immediately to the second baseman, Aaron Lampin, who tries getting him out. There's a close play at second, but it'll be called safe. 1-2 strikes. Bailey looks over at second in the stretch. The windup in the pitch. This one a short bloop, fly ball. That one caught by Cameron Austin, a leaping catch in short center field. A flashy play by Cameron Austin, short center field behind the second base bag, and makes the catch. An athletic play, leaping up in the air. And it brings out the third baseman, Tyson May. Struck out looking on a full count in the third. And Bailey, first pitch, curve, strike one looking. A nasty curve on the first pitch by Bailey Corley. Makes him swing on the first one. And Corley looking at second, the stretch, tries bunting for it. As a strike two as the ball gets past him. There's also a couple defensive changes as well. Playing at first base for Bailey Corley is Trey Long, and playing at right for Trey Long is the pitcher Theron Perkins. Theron is playing at right field. This is not the Twilight Zone. Trey is at first base. Again, this is not the Twilight Zone. The 0-2 upstairs, ball one. Bailey ahead of the count, looking for his first strikeout. Wind up in the 1-2. Swing and a missed strike three. He gets it. His first strikeout this season for the Lake Stevens Vikings. Now here is Max Savchuk, the right fielder. He also came up in the third inning against Theron Perkins. He also had a full count, and he was also struck out looking on a fastball. First pitch. Swing and a missed strike one. Then a lineup I assume would stay the same too. The 0-2, my mistake, the 0-1 outside. Ball one, evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Bailey looking at second, steps off as the shortstop Cameron Austin running towards the bag, trying to get Ryan McCann. The count is even at 1-1. Bailey toeing the rubber. We're getting the sign from Lindgren already at the stretch. The windup in the 1-1. Swung on, swing, and a miss. Count now at 1-2. And McCann at second has a pretty huge jump. 1-2. Strike 3 called. He gets Savchuk looking to end the top of the 5th. 2 strikeouts for Bailey Corley. No runs on no hits, 1 error and 1 runner left on. Still 5-0 Lake Stevens over Mariner. And Cody McDuffie now with 63 pitches through 4 innings. He will pitch in the 5th against the middle of the order, starting with the new pitcher, Bailey Corley, along with Trey Long and Tanner Lynn. The score stays at 5-0 Vikings over the Mariner Marauders. And we are now back in the bottom of the 5th inning. Lake Stevens looking to add to that 5-0 lead against Mariners starting pitcher, Cody McDuffie. I got the number wrong. He has thrown 63 pitches through 4 innings. He'll face off against Bailey Corley, who was 2 for 2 with 2 doubles, 2 RBIs, and a run. First pitch, low ball 1. Bailey Corley's telling me before the inning he's going to hit a freaking donger. He has enough power to do it, and he even pointed towards left field. He is so confident at it. The 1-0, low ball 2. Corley on a 2-0 count got a 2-run double, and on a 1-0 count got a double to the left field line. Now on a 2-0 count, and as history predicts, it looks pretty promising. This one, low ball 3. Bailey Corley on the mound last season. He had 1 start, but he pitched multiple games in relief, but his first start was against the North Creek Jaguars in the final game of the year. And he was the losing pitcher as the Vikings lost 7-3 to 3-0. And a check swing fly ball, that one to Coelho, the second baseman, who will make the catch for the first out in the 5th. It brings out the right fielder, Trey Long, still looking for his first hit of the afternoon. Grounded out to the pitcher, McDuffie, and then flew out to the center fielder, Jorge Urrutia. One of 3 hitters looking for their first hit. First pitch, a 1-hopper, ball 1, is Trey, Aaron, Tommy, Colton, and Caden, who have yet to get their first hit this afternoon. And Colton yet to get his first hit for the Vikings, the 1-0. And a hard hit shot. This one going in the right center field. Back goes Savchuk. Savchuk looking up. That will go to the wall. Trey is going to second base. That ball lands in right center field. It's a 1-out double for Trey Long. Now bring up Tanner Lynn, the center fielder. RBI single in the 1st. Got on base on a 5-pitch walk in the 3rd. He has a chance to get another RBI to knock another one in. And McDuffie looking at second, first pitch. Strike 1 looking. And McDuffie looking at second, the 0-1. A hard hit shot. This one going to the right. That will fall in front of Savchuk. Trey will round around third. The throw cut off by the second baseman. And the late throw by the second baseman. He didn't know Trey was running home. And it's another RBI single by Tanner Lynn. Trey will score from second. The score now, Vikings 6, Marauders nothing. Here is Colton Hogel, 0 for 2 on a couple of nice solid knocks right there, but it went straight to the second baseman Coelho and then straight to the center fielder Urrutia. He's still looking for his first hit as a Viking. First pitch, Strike one looking. Tanner going to second. He is safe. He has 19. Tanner Lynn now a school record. He has extended that school record now to 19 stolen bases. Count starts at 0-1. McDuffie on the stretch. The pitch. Low ball one. Now Colton not only with a chance for his first hit, but also his first RBI with the Lake Stevens Vikings in his first start, playing at third base. And McDuffie looking at Tanner at second, the 1-1. Low ball two, that one getting away from McCann. Tanner stays at second base. And the 2-1 fly ball, that one going to the right. Savchuk, he is going for it, fly ball under it, makes the catch.
Go, Tanner! Come, baby!
And it'll be a fly out to Savchuk. And Colton is now 0 for 3. That is 2 outs in the fifth. Brings up Cameron Austin, a single in the second inning, walk in the fourth. First pitch, outside ball one. Tanner Lynn staying at second base. And the 1-0 swing and a miss, strike one. And McDuffie looking at second. Tanner with a pretty decent jump. He's looking over, throws a pitch, 1-1, fly ball. This will go in the right field. Savchuk looking for it. He is looking for it. He's under it. He drops the ball. Tanner will score. Cameron is going to second base. And the Vikings now lead 7-0. Max Savchuk lost the ball. And Tanner will score. Now here is Caden Pattison. Pattison 0 for 2, looking for his first hit. This one a fly ball. This one going into short center field. The second baseman Coelho calling for it and will make the catch. For the third out, the Vikings, they get 2 more runs on the board on 2 hits, 1 error, and 1 runner left on. The score now Lake Stevens 7, Mariner nothing as we go into the top of the 6th inning. Bailey Corley back on the mound. Will face off against the top 3 hitters for the first time. Trenton Pacheco, Jacob Coelho, and Zachary Graham. The score now Lake Stevens 7, Mariner nothing here at Lake Stevens High School. And we are now back on the top of the 6th inning. Bailey Corley against Trenton Pacheco. First pitch of foul ball. And the count will start at 0-1. Pacheco 0 for 2 with 2 swinging strikeouts. And Bailey Corley throwing 3 balls for 11 strikes, 14 pitches in the 5th. A face-off against the top 3 hitters, Trenton Pacheco, Jacob Coelho, and Zachary Graham for the first time. And the windup in the stretch in the 0-1. This one a ground ball fielded by Lampinen. Throws to Trey at first. It is in time for the first out. It looked like Trey was going to get it, but he backs over to the bag to let Lampinen field it for the first out in the 6th. Here is Jacob Coelho, the second baseman, 0 for 2. Flying out to Lampinen, the second baseman, and grounding out to the pitcher, Theron, who is now currently at right field. And Bailey, the first pitch, outside ball 1. And the 1-0, a fly ball. This one going into short center field. Aaron Lampinen calling for it and will make the catch for the second out in the 6th inning. Brings up the shortstop, Zachary Graham. Got a walk in the first, got a base hit in the 4th inning, and is the only Mariner batter to have not gotten out in this game. And will face off against Bailey Corley for the first time. And Bailey, the windup, first pitch. This one a hard hit shot. This one going into right. That will fall, possibly for 2. And Tanner getting that all the way to the wall. Graham will stop at second. as it'll be a 2-out double. Zachary Graham, so far the star for the Mariner Marauders at the 3 spot. Brings up Jorge Urrutia, 0 for 2, striking out swinging in both times. And he has both Mariner hits this afternoon. He is currently 2 for 2. And Bailey looking at second towards Graham, the first pitch. Fly ball, that one is playable. Going into right field, Theron Perkins under it, calling for it, makes a catch that will end the top of the 6th. No runs on 1 hit, no error, and 1 runner left on. The score stays at 7-0. Lake Stevens over Mariner. As we go into the bottom of the 6th inning, it does not look like that Mariner will bring in a new pitcher at the moment, but in the case that they do or they don't, they might bring in the same guy. It'll be the bottom of the 6th inning. It'll be Theron Perkins, Aaron Lampinen, and Tommy Lindgren, who will be the first 3 hitters for the Vikings as they look to try to end this game early on a 10-run mercy rule. And we are now back in the bottom of the 6th inning. And so far it does look like, yes, Cody McDuffie is back on the mound. 79 pitches through 5. He'll face off against Theron Perkins to start things off. Wind up in the first pitch. Hard hit shot. That one to left. That will fall for a leadoff single on the first pitch. And Theron Perkins, the starting pitcher, helping his own cause, going 3 for 3 on the afternoon. Now here is Aaron Lampinen, 0 for 3 with a fielder's choice in the 4th inning. And a pair of pop-outs to the shortstop Graham and to the right fielder Savchuk. And the first pitch, runner goes, Theron. The throw to second is not in time. It's a stolen base for Theron Perkins, his second of the afternoon. And his stolen base number 15 on the year, 15 for 16. Bringing down to 73. And McDuffie the stretch, the 0-1. Golf shot. This one going into short center field. Coelho's looking at it. Now the center fielder is calling for it, and he makes the catch. It's the center fielder, Urrutia. For the first out in the 6th. Brings up Tommy Lindgren, the catcher. 0 for 2 with a walk, and struck out back in the 4th inning as the only strikeout victim in the Lake Stevens batting order so far. And the first pitch, strike 1 looking. Scoreboard still says 0-1. And McDuffie 0-1, chopper. This one going in the foul territory. Count now at no balls and 2 strikes. McDuffie in the stretch looking at Theron at second. A couple of times and back at the plate, the 0-2, foul ball. Tommy still fighting for the at-bat and to get his first base hit of the afternoon. And Tommy got walked in the first inning, and a fly ball. This one looks like it's going into foul. It will fall foul right near the right fielder, Max Savchuk. Savchuk and Transon were both running for it. And the ball lands about a foot in the foul territory past the right field line. Count stays at 0-2. So Lindgren was walked on a full count in the first inning. It was replaced by Hunter Salasco, who scored. He then popped out to Peter Transon in foul territory and then struck out looking in the 4th. The only strikeout for McDuffie. Looks over at second, the 0-2, and the foul piece by Lindgren. Getting a piece of that one. And Cody, still no balls and 2 strikes. Fly ball. This one going in the right field. Savchuk going a couple steps forward. He makes the catch. Theron with the long throw to third, and it'll be offline as Theron will go to third base. Brings up Bailey Corley, 2 for 3. Still a pretty good night, even though he popped out to the second baseman, Jacob Coelho. Back in the 5th inning, he got 2 doubles and 2 RBIs and a run. And has had some activity at the plate and on the base paths. First pitch. A one-hopper. This one gets past McCann. The ball will fall. Theron was going to score. And Lake Stevens now has an 8-0 lead. Theron, his 3rd run of the afternoon.
Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you. That's pretty awesome.
Yep. And McDuffie wind up in the 1-0. The pitch. Strike one looking, evens the count at 1-1. Bailey looking to go out with a bang here in the bottom of the 6th. 1-1. Outside ball 2. Bottom of the 6th inning. Possibly the final at bat. It was possibly the final at bat for Theron. Same thing with Aaron and Tommy and now Bailey. 2 balls, 1 strike. This one is ball 3. That just gets outside of the strike zone. Count now at 3-1. And Bailey with a chance to try and get himself on the board again. Easily the highlight of the year was that solo home run when he came in and pinch hit in the bottom of the 6th inning. In this same half inning against Meadowdale in the final non-conference game. Count is 3-1. The windup by McDuffie. The pitch and the chopper. That will go foul for a full count. With 2 outs in the 6th, Bailey with a chance to extend the inning. And the windup and the payoff. Hard hit ball that is fielded by Graham. Throw to first is in time to Transon, and that will end the 6th inning. And now we'll go into the top of the 7th. It is 1 run on 1 hit. No errors and nobody left on. The score now, Lake Stevens 8. The score now, Lake Stevens 8. Mariner nothing, and there's a new pitcher, and it's Trey Long coming in for Bailey Corley up at first base. Bailey will go back to first. He'll face off against Cody McDuffie, Ryan McCann, and Peter Transon, the 5, 6, and 7 hitters, try and close out this game. It'll take a quick break here in the top of the 7th to score. Lake Stevens 8, Mariner nothing. And we are now back in the top of the 7th inning. A new pitcher for the Lake Stevens Vikings, and Trey Long wind up in the first pitch. Swing and a miss to Cody McDuffie. Trey Long, he is what you call a position player pitching. Is coming in, switching positions with Bailey Corley at first. The 0-1, Trey. Upstairs, ball 1. He'll face off against Cody McDuffie, Ryan McCann, and Peter Transon to try and close this game out and to give the Vikings a 500 record on the year. Then the windup 1-1 by Trey. Outside ball 2. And Bailey, he has thrown 2 innings, throwing 20 pitches, 1 hit, and 2 strikeouts. And Trey, 2 balls and 1 strike. Strike 2 looking, evens the count at 2-2. This place is going to erupt when Trey strikes a batter out. And he has a chance to do it here. The 2-2. Upstairs, full count. This is exciting. Full count, 3-2. Trey getting the sign from Tommy. Payoff. Low, ball 4. A full count leadoff walk for Cody McDuffie. And it brings up Ryan McCann, the catcher. He came up into the 5th inning on a fly ball to left field. It was bobbled by the shortstop Cameron Austin, who ran all the way from his position to try and catch it. He then went over to second base and got stranded at second. First pitch. Strike 1 looking. And Trey the 0-1. Fly ball, this one going in the right. Theron under it, out number 1. Cody McDuffie going back to first. Here is Peter Transon, the first baseman, 0 for 2 with a strikeout in the second inning, and then a leaping pop out by Cameron Austin, the shortstop, back in the 5th for the first out in the 5th inning. And Trey, the first pitch, upstairs, ball 1. The Marauders should at least know. They should at least know that this is a position player. Trey, the 1-0. Swing and a miss, strike 1. Bailey going back to first. 1 ball and 1 strike. Trey in the stretch, the 1-1. One hopper gets past Tommy, and Cody McDuffie doesn't go to second. And Trey, the 2-1. Outside, strike 2 looking, evens the count at 2-2. And Trey, 2-2, full count again outside. Another full count for Trey Long. And Trey, the payoff, fly ball, screamer. This one going in the right center. And making the catch, no, Tanner cannot make the catch as he dives for it in right center. It'll be a 1-out single for Peter Transon. The 3rd hit for the Mariner Marauders. It moves McDuffie to second. And here is Tyson May, 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. And Trey, first pitch, a chopper foul. It's the first time all game that the Mariner Marauders have multiple base runners on. Trey looks over at second, the 0-1. Another foul. Counted 0-2. And now Trey with a chance to get his first ever and possibly only strikeout. Here with an 0-2 count, the pitch. Inside. May stepping away from that one. Count now 1-2. McDuffie at second, Transon at first. Trey, 1 ball and 2 strikes. The windup in the 1-2 pitch. Inside, evens it at 2-2. And Trey looking at McDuffie at second. The windup in the 2-2. Low full count. The 3rd full count, 3-2 for Trey Long. What's the scenario if Josh White can take him out? I don't know if he wants to take him out. This is actually fairly exciting. Payoff pitch. And a strike 3 called. This is not a drill. We have delved into the twilight zone. Trey Long has a strikeout. It strikes out Tyson May on a full count. Brings up Max Savchuk, the right fielder. Trey, the first pitch, inside, ball 1. And Trey looking at Transon at first. Nobody is at the bag. Bailey is behind the bag, the 1-0. Swing and a miss, strike 1. The count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. And Trey looking at McDuffie at second, the 1-1. Upstairs, inside, ball 2. And Trey looking at first and at second. Stretch. The windup of the 2-1. Swing and a miss. Count is even at 2-2. Trey Long, 1 strike away from giving the Vikings their 10th win of the year. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch. Swing and a miss! And this one belongs to the Lake Stevens Vikings. And the Vikings finish off with a 500 record, 10 wins and 10 losses. The final score, Lake Stevens 8, Mariner nothing. The winning pitcher, Theron Perkins. The losing pitcher is Cody McDuffie. Mariner down to 0-18. And we'll finish off the year winless for the first time since 2015. And Lake Stevens with a 500 record of 10 wins and 10 losses. And they will finish off their season also missing the playoffs. The final game of the 2019 season. And the final out of this game. And the final game for me in what has been the greatest 8 years of my life. Because when I started for this team in 2012, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I was an unsocial loser. Or at least that's how I saw myself. But when I started with this team, slowly but surely I got better socially, mentally, and then especially in the later years physically. And it feels very, very hard to say that's it. So the only thing that I could really say that can cheer up anybody who's listening to this is that I'm not done broadcasting. This may be my final game for the Vikings, but it won't be my final game at all. As some of you may have heard, I'm going straight to the pros. Starting on June 12th, I'm going to be broadcasting for the Salem Kaiser Volcanoes. That is the short season A affiliate for the San Francisco Giants. It has been made official, and basically everyone at the high school knows it at this point. And so that's where I'm going to finish it off right here. Saying thank you to everybody that I've ever met through this program. It has really helped me grow into the person I am today. So I'm going to finish it off like I always have been, with every single game that I've ever broadcast in the past 8 years. The final score from Lake Stevens High School: Vikings 8, the Mariner Marauders nothing. At 5:48 p.m. My name is Payne Patchett, and for the last 8 years and 198 games, 6 state appearances, and 3 Wesco titles, you have been listening to Lake Stevens Vikings varsity baseball. Goodbye, everybody.